Good morning. This is Scott McMeans with Action Coach SBL, and we are on the Business Spotlight. Today we have Richard Edelman from Goodman Real Estate Services Group. Richard's going to get a chance to talk about himself, his business, how he got to where he is today, and the lessons that he's learned over the course of his career. So, with that being the case, Richard, I'm going to turn the table over to you. And please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today.
Well, thanks for having me. And thanks for the opportunity to talk about our company and myself. I'm a commercial real estate broker based in Cleveland. We have offices in Cleveland and Columbus, and primarily work throughout the state of Ohio, looking for retail locations for various tenants that I represent, and also do a bit of work in Western PA as well. And so we do two primary things. We represent landlords in shopping centers, from ground up to existing shopping centers, and we also represent tenants looking for locations. And my personal book of business is entirely focused on representing tenants. So I represent people like Chik-Fil-A and Chipotle and Five Guys, BJ's Wholesale Club, and Outback, and a number of other restaurants and retailers.
Wow. That's a pretty impressive book of business, some clients that are high profile. How would you explain, or how would you describe the working relationship you have with some of these very high-end, highly recognized businesses?
I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of great brands for some are approaching 30 years, and most of them have been 5 to 10 years at a minimum. So it's truly a partnership. One of my clients I joke with, or I have for years, do I work for them or do they work for me? So it's a collaboration. We bring a lot of local knowledge and experience to the table, and they generally have a great concept, a great brand, a team of experts that know what how to grow their business, and it's teamwork that we get it done with.
That sounds like a really good relationship, one that has been, I would assume, successful for a good number of years. So that's a rarity today. So I commend you on that. What else would you say, Richard, is something you attribute to the growth you've seen over the last so many years with Goodman Real Estate Services Group?
Just high quality service, and I think doing the right thing, which has gotten harder and harder in business more recently. But I've told lots of people that all we have in a service industry like ours is our market knowledge and our reputation. And we've continued to provide high quality service, and we've been rewarded with success in the individual deals, but also, at this point, a constant flow of referral and repeat business.
That's a good, when you have a good solid base of referral business, that means you, one, are doing a good enough job that people recommend you to others. And two, because of the good work you do, people that you work with want to continue working with you. So that's a commendable position to be in. One thing that I caught, you made comment that it's harder to grow, it's harder to do business than it was years past. What would you suggest is the reasoning behind it being harder today than it has been in years past?
I said that, but now I have to answer that. I just think the just all the noise, good and bad. I think that there's so many distractions. There's so many people, deals, opportunities pulling you in all different directions. I think staying focused on the most important aspects of what you're doing, the deals that you're working on, and just kind of you know the the way that our society has evolved for good and for bad, without getting into all of the politics and noise that I'm generally speaking of.
Sure, understand. Uh, Kind of jumping off that topic, let's get into what is it that you would say are some of the biggest learnings you've had as a business owner, whether it's being an employer or the owner of the business working on operations. What do you suggest are some of the best learnings you've had over the course of your career?
Well, I think we've been very fortunate, and we're a little bit unique. So my partner is my first cousin. So we are family, our mothers, our sisters, and we've always treated each other that way, and we've treated employee number one that way to employee number 30 that we have today. So it just comes naturally. We just kind of operate our business the same way that we operate our households, and try to do the right thing, and create opportunities for ourselves and grow, and everybody, from, like I said, the newest employee to the one who's been here the longest.
Okay, now who's been there the longest?
So we're very fortunate. I guess our group is truly like family, because our first employee, he's not truly an employee, because we're all kind of independent contractors that we treat like employees. Is a guy named Zach Sogoloff, and he joined Randy and I out of college in 1998, I think, and has been with us the whole way through. And Our core group has been with us for 20 plus years. I joked around 2016 that we were like the Cavs. Maybe it was 2017, 2018. We were aging, and we needed to get young, and we've made a concerted effort to add kind of the next generation, of bringing in kind of new young blood, to supplement the kind of seasoned old veterans that we have. And it's a project in motion right now, but it seems to be working pretty well.
All right. I hate to be part of that old guard. I'm aging myself, right? We
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be squeezed out. Want to be able to give the knowledge and experience that we've had to the young ones so they can go forth and conquer. Um, I'm looking at, or I'm thinking about what you just said, and it leads me to the next question. How is it that you decide who's going to join your team? What kind of qualities are you looking for in employees, and how do you foster that relationship that is so family and family plus oriented? How do you do that?
Um, it's definitely been a process of evolution over the years. I'd be I'd be lying to you that we've gotten it right every time. I mean, just a quick funny aside: the besides Zach, the first employee that Randy and I hired, I think we did fire her after like 2 days. She was absolutely the wrong person for the group of two or three at that point. So um, a lot of it's just trial and error. We've learned over the years, what works and what doesn't work. And I think as we have gotten bigger, we Randy and I have delegated that responsibility to others who are better suited at hiring hiring people to supplement the team, while we can continue to be the salespeople and generate business and do what we do well. Um, so, but primarily, I think in terms of salespeople, well, not just that, but in marketing, we've had a lot of interns. Um, we're close to John Carroll, and we've had a lot of interns from John Carroll that have been converted to employees, particularly in our marketing department. And I think on the sales side too, that's probably been it's like you get to test drive each other and see if it's working or not, and some have and some haven't. So I think that's probably one of our strongest sources of growth.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm going to ask you about the specific qualities or type of person that you bring in. Thinking back to the comment of you had somebody for 2 days, that person didn't cut it, so you got rid of them. Obviously, they didn't mirror up or align with what you were thinking. And then you have interns that come on board because they've had experience with you. What is it, or is there a specific quality that you look for that makes the really perfect employee at Goodman Real Estate Services Group?
Um, I think um, obviously the family first kind of approach is important. Um, uh, so that's probably number one. But our group is really diverse. I think that's one of the things that makes us strong. You get a lot of different perspectives, different ideas, different skill sets. So I don't think we have a prototype kind of robot sort of person or personality in mind for whatever position we're trying to fill. A lot of it's been reactionary and things that we think will work with the group that we've got, but maybe bring something new so that we can evolve and get better.
Yeah, I think one of the comments that you made that kind of struck a chord with me was you've hired people to take care of things that you are not necessarily good at, but allows you the freedom to go do the things you are good at. And that is part of what I have envisioned in an organization that is a highly functioning business, because they understand the right person is in the right seat doing the right job, and they're not worried about doing a job they're not good at. So you can focus your efforts on what you're good at and have people supplement the things that you're not good at. If I'm overstating that, let me know, but I think that's kind of the summary of what I've heard from you so far on that topic. Is that an accurate statement?
Absolutely. I mean, we are a small business, but our clients are big corporations for the most part. We have lots of small entrepreneurial owners and retailers, but the core of our business is big corporations. They haven't always been, but we've seen them evolve from. I mean, I did store number 500 for Chipotle, and now they've got 3,000. So it's been a great ride, but we see kind of that big corporate approach, and many have been able to not live up to kind of what the big corporate approach is. But there's many that we see that they hire these people and they don't empower them to do their job, and it just gives me the perspective of like, well, why are you paying this person if you're not going to let them do their job? So I see that sometimes in other companies, and we do the opposite, and we try to empower people to do the job that we've hired them to do and make us better.
I love that, and that's a lesson a lot of people, I believe, could learn when they're starting their own business or driving their own business through the various stages that a business has to go through, because they're so fixated on what they're doing, they're not allowing other people to do their job as well. So that's a key learning. I appreciate that. Kind of transitioning along that same line, what would you say, Richard, is a big misconception about being an owner of a business? What is it that people think versus what's the reality of being a business owner?
Oh man, that it's easy and there's just an endless source of money coming in. Um, it's I'm definitely grateful, for the income that it comes in from the business side that supplements kind of my own commission income. Um, but it's not easy. Um, and but it's like everything. I mean, it's very rewarding at the same time. Um, I think in our business where you can be, kind of just a sole independent contractor, it's nice to have a broader team and group um, to work with. Um, and it it it's gives you a different source of personal satisfaction and enjoyment in doing what we do.
What is it, Richard, that you would highlight as the most rewarding part of what you do?
Um, I mean, the part that I enjoy the most about what I do is the problem solving. I tell people sometimes I create the problem for myself, and other times the problem's created for me. Um, but it's identifying a problem and solving it. And they're not always solvable. And I guess those are the deals that don't get done. But I think the other, you know, part I enjoy the most is the hunt when we're looking for new opportunities because with the clients that I represent, the type of brokerage that I do, we don't just call signs and make deals for space that's available. I have the opportunity to buy out tenants with key money because they're underperforming or they have a lease and negotiate a new lease with a landlord who's happy because they're getting a longer term lease and a better credit tenant and more traffic. And so there's a lot of opportunity to be creative, to think outside the box. Um, and but that beginning, the finding the deal um,
Mm-hmm.
when you haven't had any headaches, you haven't identified any of the problems, everything looks rosy and green, open pastures is the fun part because sometimes these deals take um, you know 18 months, 2 years. I worked on a Chick-fil-A deal, not on every day, but on and off for 10 years in Columbus.
Oh,
And it got done and it's been very productive and it jump started the market and it was very rewarding when it got done.
that's fantastic. 10 years is an awful long time. Kudos to you
Yeah,
for sticking to it.
thank you.
Yeah, there's some great nuggets in here, and I appreciate it. We've talked about some good stuff. Rich, what would you say is some of the most challenging things that you deal with on a monthly basis, weekly basis? What are some of the challenges that come into the world of a Goodman Real Estate Services Group?
Um, well, healthcare, we definitely we provide insurance for all of our people, and that is probably been the biggest challenge. Sounds like probably an odd, probably wasn't what you were expecting, but that is at
Mm.
the forefront of my mind of what the hardest thing to manage has been over the years. Um, but in terms of business, it's just you know um, keeping everybody focused on getting deals done. In our business,
Hmm.
you can be as busy as anyone and still make no money if you don't get the deals done. So it's keeping everybody focused on how to get a deal done, um, keeping landlords and tenants happy, because the deals need to be win-win to get done, and to continue the relationships that we've been able to maintain for as many years as we have, as we're approaching our 25th anniversary, actually, which actually we started in February of '98, and so I guess we're
You
into
got there. Well,
we're growing beyond there.
25 years is a hell of a milestone. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Final question. What advice would you give the 18-year-old Richard Edelman?
I wish I read more books. I and I wish I had, I wish I knew when I was 18 what I wanted to do, which is a good thing and a bad thing. My son is 18 and he's going off to college, and I don't think he really knows what he wants to do. And I'm not, discouraging him in that regard. But I think that I wish I had more of a kind of a fundamentals foundation of business, um, business 101, kind of the history, the core concepts of business, finance, econ, and so on, that I would couple with kind of the entrepreneurial spirit that I have, and the learning by experience, and trial and error. So I think most of what I have to offer to my clients is really experiential knowledge, um, and I wish that I had, like I said, that real educational fundamental foundation of business to complement what I do have to offer.
Okay, I don't think you are off the mark on that at all. I think a lot of people would love to go back and have a better understanding of business before they started. But I will tell you, you said your experience is what really gravitates your customers to you, and I look at that as um, fire hardens iron, right? There's no substitute for experience. And I think that's what draws a lot of people to you. And that's clearly a reason why you've been successful. I want to thank you for your time. The floor is yours for the next minute. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Anything you wanted to have on the table so you can have a conversation about? The last minute or so is up to you, Richard, whatever you want to talk about.
No, I just thank you for the opportunity to kind of share my story, and think about um, some of these things that you've asked me about, which are not kind of the typical things that are going through my head throughout the typical day. I guess I'd be remiss to say that on this platform, in this audience, that we are looking to grow. Our business is, despite what many people think about retail, commercial real estate, brick and mortar stores is thriving. It's a great industry and business that I've enjoyed for approaching 30 years, and would love to hear from anybody that is looking to get into the business, or even change industries maybe.
Your last comment about the thriving brick and mortar retail space is something I think people need to hear, because I believe there's a misnomer that those stores are going away. But clearly they're not. Every time you go out, there's always somebody that is either in a brand new store, selling something brand new, restaurant, whatever the case may be. So I'm glad you made comment to that. because I think there's a lot of people that need to recognize business always moves forward. It may not be the original form you thought it was, but business always moves forward and it always finds a way to survive, regardless of what conditions and challenges it faces. And it sounds like the Goodman Real Estate Services Group has done a lot of that as well. You've grown despite challenges. You have a great business model, and I wish you nothing but the best as you move forward, because what I see so far is positive, and that's a great thing to see in a business such as yours. So thank you for your time. And with that, we're going to close out the interview. Thank you for being a part of the Business Spotlight, Richard, and we will talk to everybody on the next one.